Owning Trillionaires, read this conversation by Anna von Reitz. Nearly every day I get calls from wealthy people saying, I have billions of dollars or more of assets in bank accounts and it's all right there on the Fed gray screen, but I can't access anything. What is going on? While the trillionaires and billionaires have been working their tails off to operate all these assets and exercise all these ownership interests for profits appearing to benefit themselves, the Federal Reserve has been claiming to own the trillionaires and billionaires. For free, as a gift. It's really that simple. The Vermin took title to living men, created estates named after us, sold our assets to investors without our knowledge or consent, and now, the investors are coming after us in the mistaken belief that they have a valid interest in our assets. You see how the middlemen worked this scam, so that both the actual owners and the investors are defrauded while they, the middlemen, pocketed the ill-gotten gains? It would be like me selling your house to Joe Baxter, and when Joe and his family show up ready to move in, there you are going, what the dollar, exclamation mark at exclamation mark question mark. Now, that's a helluva situation, isn't it? Both Joe and you are screwed and the middlemen, holding the title to your name and those holding title to your estate, are long gone. This has been going on for a long time. That is exactly what the whole mortgage fraud scheme has been about. The British monarch was obligated to act as our trustee on the high seas and navigable inland waterways by treaty and commercial contract with the United States of America, our unincorporated government. He saw a chance of pulling a fast one after the Civil War, and of substituting himself as the beneficiary instead of the trustee. So he gave the trustee position to the Pope, and the Pope named him the presumed beneficiary of our birthright trust. And things went downhill from there to their current state of criminality. The state of Ohio, or the government of Moldavia, or the city of Chicago, or the County Clare Municipal District, ad infinitum, set up franchises for themselves, copyrighted our names, registered them as property belonging to their corporations, and there you have it. But, my dear sir, you don't even own your own name, I tell the astonished victim. A corporation called the State of Ohio copyrighted your name and registered it as property belonging to them in 1964. They claimed it was a gift from your mother, so everything owned under that name is, according to the records, owned and controlled by the State of Ohio, not James Leland Zwinka, Yes, I know it's fraud, yes, I do give a damn that they falsified the public records, I am aware of that, sir, but they have stolen your identity and your assets, sold them to third parties, pocketed the profits, and are now sitting on a beach in Puerto Rico getting smashed, yes, both you and the investors are being screwed senseless, I know you were never told a word about this, your mother wasn't told either, they aren't allowed to talk about it, see 18 U.S.C. 472, I am terribly sorry, they are outside our American jurisdiction, yes, I know, but here's the problem, you have been defrauded, no question about it, but where are you going to prosecute them? Their own courts, Bombing London and Rome isn't really an option, besides, how are you going to pay to bomb the Vermin? They stole all your money, all the assets you had in the bank under that name, they took title to your home and land in the same way, well, yes, I agree, there has to be a way to return the favor, Reclaim your good name and estate and permanently domicile them on the land and soil of Ohio, no state of anything, just Ohio, Then join your state jural assembly, set up your local courts and state courts, elect your sheriffs, elect your justices of the peace, then set up your actual state legislature. The Ohio legislature, no Ohio state legislature and no state of Ohio legislature, just the Ohio legislature, and select your deputies to attend the Continental Congress, and never incorporate anything, not even a doghouse. Run everything as an unincorporated business in international trade, Well, the quickest way to end this, is by informing everyone you know and exposing the rats, rule of law? Ha ha ha. That's a good one, I did tell the generals, the only reason they will do anything, is that they realize that the Chinese are in line to get the new contract for cheap mercenary services, Boycotts, shutdowns, marches, education of the people, pause, I think he's doing his best with a bad situation, pause, put pressure on your local bank to resolve this in your favor, pause, hey, it's the military and the bankers and the Catholic clergy and politicians and bar attorneys and European monarchies that created this mess, pause, go after all of them. Rag their asses clean off, not mine, pause. Nationalize the whole thing, especially all the railroads. Close off any inroads they have. Give the public property back to the actual states and all the private property back to the people. Just need to get our tails in the air and do it, pause, lock down their accounts, seize their assets as unjust enrichment, put new managers in charge of the banks, arrest them, pause. Why not? They are criminals, pause, in the old days, we just found a tall tree and a short rope, pause, these guys have rustled a lot more than cattle, pause, you are a case in point, everything that you assumed was yours, has been stolen by fraud that began when you were just a few days old, long before you could know a thing about it, pause. That is known as an unconscionable contract. It's supposed to be readily recognized as null and void, but of course, their hired bill collectors running these courts routinely ignore both the facts and the law, pause, I guess it has to be run up their rectums with a rubber hose. Technically, if the local sheriff, and bear in mind, these guys are not actual sheriffs and not occupying actual public offices, they are all working for corporations and have been elected in corporate elections, but if the local guy pretending to be sheriff doesn't obey the public law and is misapplying statutory law to people, the United States Marshals are supposed to arrest him and return your property, pause, in fact, it's like pulling teeth to get them the Marshals to do anything, pause, that's because the Marshals work for the Pope and the Pope is in on this crap, profiting from it, pause. Look, the municipal corporation that was claiming to act as your trustee, the state of Ohio, has been bankrupted and liquidated along with all its franchises including James Leland Zwinke, pause, now the territorial corporation claiming to be the beneficiary of James Leland Zwinke will come forward and claim his assets, but they are bankrupt, too, so, pause, oh, yes, all these jokers are subject to bankruptcy trustees named by the banks, pause, the trustees and the banks are the real problem, pause. If Iceland can do it, so can we, pause, no, all of this is totally bogus, unlawful and illegal, both. Mischaracterizing a living man as a citizen of a foreign country such as mischaracterizing an American as a U.S. citizen, is a capital crime under the Geneva Conventions, pause. And securitization of a living man is totally illegal. It's been outlawed for generations. So has conscription and press ganging, pause, and so is bastardy and bono vacantia in America. None of our actual states allow it, pause. Well, yes, I know. They will get away with what they can get away with, pause, and though they can't actually own you, as long as you let them own and control your name, they can do whatever they want to you and your assets using that as a ploy, pause. Looks like most of them, especially the Democrats, have dual citizenship in Israel, pause. I hear that Trump has opened a branch of the Ritz-Carlton in Cuba, pause. It's all bankers' wars, one group of thugs and criminals thumping on another group of thugs and criminals, pause. My approach is simple. Bring your proof and claim, assemble your jural assembly, pause, that's right. Get organized and do for yourself what you have been paying them to do for you, pause. Hey, it's better than paying someone who rips you off, right? Pause. These are grossly disloyal and insubordinate employees. They haven't just failed to do their jobs, they have done other jobs instead, jobs that have served to defraud and rob and enslave you. You paid their salaries while they were doing this, pause, yes, and if that doesn't make you mad, nothing will. Pause. I am terrible sorry, but until this mess gets straightened out, you won't have access to your assets, pause, because even if the boneheads in charge knew for sure who owns what, they wouldn't know how to pay them out, pause, ha. How do you want it? Federal Reserve notes? Yen? Monopoly money? Shares in diamond mines that may not exist? Shares of cotton for shares of pork bellies? Pause. Now, you begin to see what I mean. The criminals have wrecked the basis for everything, including trust, pause. It's not a matter of making a deal anymore, pause, it's an operational system that's out of commission because of abuse by criminals. Both the pipeline and what goes in the pipeline, kaput until further notice, pause, I mean, broke like a truck without an axle. That kind of broke. Of course, your assets have value, but translating that value into symbols, digits, and currency is another matter, pause. What do I suggest? I gave them the way to convert the debt system to a credit system in 3 days without hurting anyone. They laughed at me. Pause. They think they can ride it out, come up with a new scam or a new version of the old one. Pause. Of course, they think people are that stupid. They got away with this fraud for 150 years and glutted like pigs, had us paying them for the privilege of being screwed over by them. Pause. They have to be convinced otherwise. They have to know that we know, and that we mean business. Pause. I think Trump will take care of his own business. That doesn't mean he will take care of mine. Pause. Remember, it was the military and the territorial government that Lincoln made responsible for protecting our money. And you see where your money is now, locked up on a gray screen at the Federal Reserve, claimed as part of the abandoned gift estate of James Leland Zwinke. A franchise operated by the bankrupt state of Ohio, claimed by the territorial state of Ohio, and, more importantly, claimed by the bankruptcy trustees and creditors of the state of Ohio. Pause. According to them, it's not even your money. Never has been. Pause. Yes, I did something about it. Pause. I claimed back my name and returned it to the land and soil of Wisconsin, reclaiming the land of Wisconsin in the process. Then I placed claims against all these rotten corporations in the name of the actual state, Ohio, and the living Ohioans. I did this for all 50 states. Pause. I did it for everyone. Every state. Every American. So the claim is there and lodged with notice and liens established. Pause. I also established a private registered indemnity bond covering all the states. In fact, the Vermin tried to reclaim me by making up a different version of my name and asserting an ownership interest, but they weren't fast enough and I wasn't stupid enough. I officially claimed that version, too, and certified it. Pause. Of course, all this is fraudulent. Grossly so. All of it. Pause. But what are you going to do about it? Pause. All I heard was the sound of a round being jacked into a .12 gauge shotgun and the line went dead. I don't think he was mad at me. I don't know what state he was from. I just used Ohio as an example. I'm not even sure I caught his name. I have talked to so many people like this, in this situation, that I lose track. I hope he didn't do himself harm over money. I hope he doesn't do anyone else harm over money. The criminals will come to justice and it will all get straightened out, but in the meantime, folks, be advised and hunker down. Do what you can to preserve and protect your own lives and assets. Adopt my motto, keep calm, and get even. Hit subscribe, like, share and get ready for many more Anna Von Reitz videos.